Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Today we're going to talk about, the internal revolution. As you recall, Dmitri Duduman was told the fall of America will start with an internal revolution. Started by the communists, some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with the internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and two other countries will attack and defeat America in 1 day and 1 hour, so great riches will come to naught. As you also know, we have said that based upon a lot of different factors, and I'm in the process of gathering up all those factors, that there's likely to be a whole lot of arrests, and probably tomorrow's broadcast is going to be talking about them. But I just pulled up a new article posted by BenjaminFulford.net. Now, as I've said, no, he's not a Christian. And that's one of the reasons I wouldn't interview him on the radio, because from the very beginning, I've always kind of had a rule. If they haven't found the ultimate truth of the universe, that Jesus is the Christ, then why should I listen to them? So I'm not listening to him because he's not a Christian, but what he says, he always seems to be in the flow of non-Christian things that confirm some of the Christian things. Again, a prophecy student knows things and understands things that the average person doesn't see. They don't understand. Because we know the end, we can understand those things that we can ignore that have nothing to do with where we're going. And also, we'll see things into some things that other people will just ignore. Well, here's a big one. So it says October 21, coup attempt against Donald Trump fails. October revolution continues. An attempted coup against United States President Donald Trump has failed, and several senior U.S. politicians. Now, hold on, let me just say, I don't necessarily agree with everything that Benjamin Fulford says, and I don't necessarily know that it is all correct. Matter of fact, there have been some things that I absolutely disagree with him on it. So I'm not holding him up as an expert. I'm holding him up to confirm other things that we know from other sources that are prophecy, Bible prophecy, or modern prophecies, things like that. So this attempted coup that he says that has apparently just failed, is there anything in prophecy that talks about that? Oh, yes, there is. This was back in 2010. This comes from Terry Bennett. What the United States is going to go through is civil conflict, civil war, then invasion. I saw in the governmental arena that we will go through a dramatic change in our government, and there will be a time of anarchy and chaos. For a while, we'll have a fractional government, which means basically our government will come down to the state level because, listen carefully, of the military stepping in. I'll say it again, of the military stepping in and having to seize control of our federal government. You'd call it a coup, but in all honesty, it will be to help our nation. Okay, hang on. What is a coup? Where the military steps in, has to seize control of the federal government, but it's actually a good thing. Would you say that over 100,000 people being arrested might qualify? I think so. Let's go on. That's why the military will step in. Lawlessness, chaos was shown to me in civil unrest. Now, I also need to give you another disclaimer. No one has given me any inside information on the government or the military or stuff like that. I don't have any alphabet agency calling me. I have not received any envelopes under the door. I've not got any information. So you might be saying, well, where do you get this? I'm telling you right now, this is where I get it. See, this Terry Bennett guy, he has this angel Gabriel come to him back in 2010. Here we are 9 years later, and it still hasn't totally come to pass, but we can see it's on the horizon. In other words, I'm getting it from the prophecies. I'm not getting it from some inside source or something like that. All right, now, back to Benjamin Fulford. So it says an attempted coup against the United States President Donald Trump has failed, and several senior U.S. politicians, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and House Intelligence Chairman Adam Schiff, are likely to be arrested or executed as a result. Now, hang on. I'm just a little. I find it just a little difficult to believe that that we could see a Nancy Pelosi, or we've also heard of other people. I mean, at least I have. At least this. And other sites have claimed there's been other high-level people that have been executed. It may be true. A lot of people are saying it. but I still find it difficult to believe at this point. Maybe, but I mean, I try to be reasonable. And I want to say something to you. As prophecy students, it doesn't necessarily mean that we are conspiracy theorists. We are prophecy students. We're looking for things that in the natural that are confirming things in the Bible prophecies or the modern prophets. So when he says that, I mean, Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff being arrested, I hope it's right, but I have to tell you, I'm really not that much into conspiracy theories. I know that may sound surprising to you, but I'm into Bible prophecy and those things that confirm it. Okay, so let's go on. So it goes on to say, are likely to be arrested or executed. Again, I'm telling you right now, that's a little difficult for me to believe. Executed as a result, MI6 and Pentagon sources say. That is why Pelosi, Schiff, plus Foreign Affairs Chairman Elliot Engel, Homeland Security Chairman Bennett Thompson, and Republican Mac Thornberry, the ranking member of the House Armed Services Committee, and others, made a sudden trip to Jordan and then to Afghanistan, the sources say. Well, I do remember that I heard Nancy Pelosi had gone over to Afghanistan and also to Saudi Arabia. So I did hear that, and I haven't looked it up and confirmed that. I didn't need to at this point. It's one of some things you hear. I'll say it this way. Some things you smell. Some things you taste and you spit out. Some things you just leave sitting on the shelf. This is what I'm just going to leave it sitting on the shelf. In other words, I do not know whether I'm going to accept that yet. Let's go on. The politicians sought protection in Jordan because Antoinette Gardenier and the mother of the current king of Jordan is from a satanic bloodline who, quote, converted to Islam and changed the name to Muna, according to Pentagon and other sources. I'm going to leave that one on the shelf too. But let's go on. There's some other interesting things he says here. However, Jordan's government was unwilling or unable to provide protection, so they flew to Afghanistan in a failed attempt to drum up U.S. military support there for the coup, the sources said. Again, I'm going to leave that one on the shelf too. It is worth noting that last week, former Defense Secretary James Mattis and former head of U.S. Special Forces Admiral William McRaven both publicly criticized Trump and were widely quoted as doing so by the corporate propaganda media. Yeah, I saw that. Doesn't mean a thing, in my opinion. Mathis, after criticizing Trump, warned that hyper-partisanship would either lead to anarchy or the rise of an ambitious leader. What? Okay, now you're starting to understand why I'm reading this article to you. Let's go back and read that again. Mathis, after criticizing Trump, warned that, quote, hyper-partisanship would either lead to, quote, anarchy or, listen, here it is, the rise of an ambitious leader unfettered by conscience or precedent or decency who would make himself supreme. I'll read that again. Mathis, after criticizing Trump, warned that hyperpartisanship would either lead to anarchy or the rise of an ambitious leader. Does that sound like the Antichrist, the beast? Does to me. Unfettered by conscience or precedent or decency who would make himself supreme. Sounds like the beast to me. So are they saying that they are now expecting the beast to soon arise? Well, it sounds like it, doesn't it? Let's go on. McRaven, who led the fake raid against bin Laden in 2011, was quoted as saying, quote, as I stood on the parade field at Fort Bragg, one retired four-star general grabbed my arm, shook me, and shouted, I don't like the Democrats, but Trump is destroying the Republic. Those words echoed within me throughout the week. The coup attempt was promoted by, quote, the execution of powerful anti-Trump Congressman Elijah Cummings, who was, quote, found guilty of enabling child sex trafficking, unquote, Pentagon sources say. Pelosi was also promoted to flee the country by the death of her own brother, former Baltimore Mayor Thomas D'Alessandro III, the sources say. All right. Okay, so they're trying to say that Elijah Cummings was executed. I'm going to leave that one on the shelf, too. I'm going to say it doesn't mean I don't believe it. I'm going to leave it on the shelf. I'm going to continue to watch it. That was several other things. I find it just difficult to believe. And I'm not getting a yawn on it. I'm not getting a touch of the anointing either way. I'm not getting an answer from the Lord, so I'm just going to leave it on the shelf. Let's go on. And by the way, that's sometimes what we have to do. If you just throw out the baby with the bathwater, sometimes you throw out some good things. So sometimes you smell it, sometimes you taste it, sometimes you taste it and spit it out, and sometimes you just never taste it. Sometimes you just leave it sitting on the shelf. Again, a lot of this we're going to leave on the shelf, but there's some very important points here. The trail of intrigue is now implicating Pope Francis, MI6 sources say. The Pope's bodyguard, Vatican head of police, Domenico Giance, just resigned over the financial corruption, did you hear that word, corruption? Financial corruption scandal and associated leaks, they say. Really? The Pope should just go. We eventually find that the financial forensics leading back to him linked to assassination attempts against people involving in setting up a new financial system, they added. The Pope's role in Argentina's, quote, dirty war, in which over 20,000 people were tortured and murdered, is also being investigated, they note. Leave that on the shelf, too. The Pope and the P2 Masons who put him in power were responsible for this dirty war, as well as 9/11, Fukushima, and many other mass murder incidents. They also bragged that the now executed Barack Obama was their man. Come on. Executed? Barack Obama executed. The former president of the United States executed? I'm going to really push that to the back of the shelf. Francis will be visiting Japan, a country where only 0.5% of the population is Catholic, from November 23 to 26. To try to shore up the slave regime of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. I do not know that Shinzo Abe is a bad guy at all. I do not know that. I don't know good or bad. Trump says he likes him. I trust Trump, but that may be what Trump just has to say. Okay, let's go on. The other thing Francis will be doing is preparing, now this is why I'm reading this article, for the announcement of a fake Messiah, which is being cultivated by the P2 Masons. This is an individual with stigmata who is being trained for this role, P2 Freemason sources say. The Vatican is also sending its top assassin to East Asia around this time in an effort to cover up its criminal activities in the region, sources say. It is interesting to note in this context that North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong Un, listen to this is important. See, these people are saying things, they don't even understand what they're saying. Okay, North Korean Supreme Court leader Kim Jong Un rode a white horse on the sacred Mount, I'm going to spell it, Paektu, Paektu, I guess, last week. Now, I kind of butchered that, so let me back up, reread that last sentence. It's saying that North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong Un rode a white horse on top of a mountain. Let's go on. The North Korean Central News Agency predicted that there would be a great operation to strike the world with wonder again and make a step forward in the Korean Revolution. Only a prophecy student would understand what that's saying. So let me back up. Those last two paragraphs, huge. They're saying things they don't even understand what they're saying. So it's saying that Pope Francis, get a load here, okay? Pope Francis is preparing to announce a fake Messiah. And it also says that Kim Jong Un rode a white horse on top of a mountain. So what's all that mean? Well, I'll tell you what that means. They're mocking Jesus. In other words, when Jesus returns on the Feast of Trumpets, he returns on a white horse, and with him the armies in heaven. And that would be you and I, those people that got to go to the marriage supper of the Lamb, and not everybody gets to go. Those that are ready get to go in. But then if you back up what he also said, they're also setting up a new financial system. And what have we been talking about? And that Mathis, after criticizing Trump, warned that a hyper-partisanship would either lead to anarchy or the rise of an ambitious leader unfettered by conscience, in other words, pure evil, or precedent, or decency, who would make himself supreme. So what they're saying here is that the beast, I prefer to call him the beast, some people call him the Antichrist, but he's really the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit. And that's another thing. Somebody wrote me and said, do you think that the beast is already alive, or you think the Antichrist is already alive? And I said, no, I do not. I think that he will, just as the Bible say, ascend out of the bottomless pit, and goeth into perdition. And when he ascends out of the bottomless pit, he immediately starts fulfilling the prophecies. That's probably on about or the same day that the great trumpet or the first seal is unsealed, and hopefully all of the world will hear that, and that's probably the start of the tribulation. In other words, yesterday he was not, and today he is. He just is there, and he may take over the body of something already, but that's not the point. He ascendeth out of the bottomless pit. So what this is saying is that they are expecting a man to arise, an ambitious leader, unfettered by conscience or precedent or decency, who would make himself supreme. I didn't say that. A secular guy over Japan said that. It's not some wild-eyed, crazy prophecy student saying, oh, the Antichrist is about to arrive. The beast is about to arrive. I'm not saying that. That's the reason I like reading this guy, because this is a secular source on the other side of the world, in Japan. And he's saying things I don't even think he understands. If you're not a really deep prophecy student, you don't understand what it means when Kim Jong Un rides a white horse. He's mocking Jesus that will really, one of these days, return on a white horse. They don't understand. Okay, let's go on. In any case, Asian intrigue aside, the dragnet is closing in on Satanists worldwide as a, quote, Pentagon pedo task force of Navy SEALs and Marines liberated thousands of children from California underground bases to deprive the deep state of adrenochrome. Now, I've never heard of this before. I don't even know if I want to read it. I'll go ahead and read it. You can leave it on the shelf if you want to. The Pentagon sources say, children are tortured and murdered before their blood and adrenal glands are removed in order to extract the stimulant called adrenochrome, according to multiple whistleblowers. I'll leave that on the shelf too. Also last week, the U.S. Department of Justice, here it is. This is another important reason I'm reading this article. The U.S. Department of Justice arrested 337 pedophiles across 38 countries, including the UK, France, Italy, U.S., Germany, Brazil, after the dark web, Bitcoin child porn site hosting 250,000 videos was shut down. Is that the arrests starting? Well, I plan to bring you a whole program probably tomorrow. At least I'm working on it, and I'll get to it. And it's a whole update on all of this arrests thing. He goes on to say the net is also closing in on the cabal following the arrest in India of drug maker Ranbaxy founders Malvinder and Shivinder Singh, who have begun snitching on the Clinton Foundation, the sources add. Now, let me put a big fat disclaimer in here. I do not know that anything in this article is accurate. I can't stand behind a word of it. I'm simply trying to say, does some of this fit together with Bible prophecy? Because when you're talking about riding a white horse, that's Bible prophecy. You're talking about bringing in a man that has no conscience, that's the beast. So actually, this is kind of confirming Bible prophecy in a really big way. Let me skip several paragraphs down to say, however, a global currency reset to stabilize the entire system will have to wait until the old system destabilizes further, the source says. He predicted the reset would take place sometime in the year 2020, means the new financial system that guy, I read him 2 or 3 weeks ago, what he was saying. In the meantime, uncertainty levels, as measured by the frequency of words in the media, are at levels never seen before, surpassing 9/11. The Lehman shock, the fall of the Soviet Union, in other words, it looks like the old system is going to have to collapse before the new can be ushered in. This does not mean that all the news is bad, though. For example, there are now undeniable signs the U.S. military has begun the process of disclosure. Oh, listen to this. I've been telling you this was coming. They have been publishing patents for technology like free energy that will totally revolutionize how we live. Now it looks like an actual demonstration of this science fiction-like technology will take place on October 30th, according to a U.S. Army Force Academy tweet. We are also hearing that diamond prices are plunging worldwide because previously hidden carbon technology is about to be released. Remember, diamonds are made of carbon, one of the cheapest and most plentiful materials there is. Carbon scientists tell us that diamond windows, diamond tableware, etc., will soon be made available to the public. Even more exciting, medical technology to us to make us immortal is being released. Read that again. I can attach scripture to that. I've been talking about that for 10 years. Even more exciting, medical technology to make us immortal is being released. For example, a 3-drug combination that can increase lifespan by 50% has been announced. While the article below says this works for fruit flies, it affects a basic mechanism in our bodies that is identical to that is seen in fruit flies. Let that sink in a bit. Technology for free energy, space travel, immortality, listen to that word, immortality, is being made available publicly. These are very real signs that a new age has begun. You remember when he opened the 5th seal, and I saw a star fall from heaven, to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And out of the smoke came locusts upon the earth. And power is given to them as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any tree or any green thing, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. Then if you skip down, it says, and in those days men shall seek death, and shall not find it. They shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. What's that? That, my brothers and sisters, is immortality. I believe that they will come out with an injection. I've even got this on a DVD I made. I have to look it up, 8 to 10 years ago, where I said I believe that they'll come out with an injection, and they'll say, if you take the mark of the beast, you can have this injection, and it will correct your DNA. Your, like, for example, teeth that have been pulled will come back in. Arms that have been cut off will grow back out. Eyes that are blind will grow back in the socket. And all of a sudden, your body will start healing itself, and you will live forever. I believe it's Joel 2:28 says that a soldier will be able to fall on a sword and not be wounded. Now, does that mean that he has some kind of super skin or super skeleton, something that the sword won't penetrate? I don't think so. I think the sword goes in, he pulls it out, but he just has instant healing. I think that is coming. All of this whole article is not trying to lift up Benjamin Fulford. It's trying to say that a secular guy on the other side of the planet in Japan, not a prophecy student, is sitting here saying, brothers and sisters, tribulation about to start. Beast about to pop out. All of this great time where another place, I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For these are the spirits of devils working miracles, going forth into the kings of the earth and the whole world to gather them to the great battle of that great day of God Almighty, meaning Armageddon. So devils are about to use miracles, but not to worry. God is going to meet them step by step, inch for inch, pound for pound. Everything the devil does, God is going to show up bigger, and we will win the victory. There'll be a lot of battles, some of them quite bloody, on the way, but we win the victory. Now, let me also say something else. It would be very nice if we had a whole team of people that stood behind us every month so that I didn't have to get on the radio and say, help, we're in trouble, if you can help us. But here it is again. Yes, so if you can help us financially, now would be a really good time. But it would be nice if you guys would consider becoming a partaker. In other words, you're not one that gives a donation from time to time here or there or as you're led, but instead you've made a decision to stand with Prophecy Club every month. We call them partakers. Here's how it works. Call the office, 785-266-1112. Joe will probably answer the phone, and you can say, I want to be a partaker. And you can set it up to have any amount automatically taken out of your credit card on any particular day of the month. Stop anytime you want, but oh boy, it's so nice when we know that, like on the 1st of the month or the 15th of the month. As a matter of fact, 15th of the month is really the darkest part of the month financially. So if that's something that you're led to do, if God has blessed you, would you consider helping us? because we carry a message that a lot of people don't like and don't want. So the few people that do believe that we're telling the truth, boy, we really need your help. We put together 6 DVDs, 5 titles, valued at $160, all for a gift of just $40. That's less than $10 a DVD. First one, What's Wrong with Halloween? Dr. Jack Clooney is a ranking authority on Satanism, witchcraft, white supremacy, and other forms of occult and occult activity. He helped investigators from the FBI, CIA, OSI, Border Patrol, and dozens of police and sheriff organizations across America in occult-related crimes. The average Christian has no idea of the influence of the occult in crimes. America's Occult Holidays by Doc Marquis. Doc was raised in an Illuminati family, trained as an Illuminist, and attained the rank of Master Witch, 3rd degree. He has been a Christian since 1979 and appeared on and consulted for The Oprah Winfrey Show, The Geraldo Vera Show, Hard Copy, Inside Edition, Unsolved Mysteries. He reveals how all American holidays are designed to be used as an occult numerical pattern originating from the Illuminati. Discover the real truth behind the popular holidays like Christmas, Easter, Halloween, Valentine's Day, May Day, and other traditions of men, and learn the truth behind occult practices like trick-or-treat and May Day. Occult Holidays Revealed by Stephen Dollins. Stephen is an ex-Satanist high priest of the Church of Satan. He reveals the truth and the true origins behind Christmas, Easter, Halloween, and the world's most celebrated holidays, including is Christmas, the real birth of Jesus? Is Easter celebrating the resurrection of Christ? And what is the hidden agenda behind Halloween? The Occult in Your Living Room, also by Stephen Dollins. Stephen exposes the subtle devices used to infiltrate the homes of Christians and non-Christians alike to lure the young and the old into the practice of witchcraft and Satanism. Discover the evil truth behind today's crazes like movies, video games, and role-playing fantasy games. These devices initiate our children into the world of the occult by making evil appear to be cute, such as Teletubbies, Pokemon, and others. Vampires and werewolves, real or fake. Bill Snevelin was a voodoo priest, Wiccan high priest, 2nd degree member of the Church of Satan, a New Age guru, occultist, channeler, 90th degree Mason, and a Knight Templar, vampire initiate, and member of the Illuminati. Due to the increased media exposure of vampires and werewolves made to appear seductive, many people are becoming intrigued with evil. All 6 DVDs, 5 titles, $160 value, all for a gift of just $40 at prophecyclub.com. It's called the Occult Holidays Gift Offer, and if you order by October 25th, you'll get it in the lower 48 states by Halloween. That's the Occult Holidays Gift Offer. 6 DVDs, 5 titles, gift of $40 at prophecyclub.com. In 2017, I memorized the book of Revelation. God showed me a single word, first fruits, is a secret door found in Revelation and Leviticus. When linked together, the end-time events can be placed in chronological order. For the first time, we can know what feast Jesus returns on, the feast for the judgment seat of Christ on the great white throne, the feast upon which the wheat is resurrected, and on the day the New Jerusalem comes down to earth. And even though I've been in Bible prophecy for 40 years, I freely admit to you that I knew nothing that is revealed in this book supernaturally. So you probably know nothing that is in this book. One prophetic word said, there is a lock that I have put over a word in the book of Revelation that I'm going to open unto you. It will turn many books written on the end-time message into obsolete books. That's this book. Don't get 1 for $20. Instead, get 5 for $30 or 10 for $55. Or a new case price, 60 books for $250. That's 60 books in a case for $250. The secret door to understand Bible prophecy at prophecyclub.com. In that you know the internet is going away one day, it is a good idea to actually have the disc. However, at watchprophecyclub.com, you can have instant access to over 200 titles on a recurring monthly subscription of $20 or yearly for $200 at watchprophecyclub.com. That's $6,000 worth of information at watchprophecyclub.com. That's watchprophecyclub.com. What a deal.